Did Jeffrey Epstein hang himself, or did somebody kill him? Snorts. Senator, I believe he hung himself in a cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center. Are you going to release all the information about that? Senator, we are working through that right now with the Department of Justice. When do you think you'll have it done, Kash? I think in the near future, sir. Like before I die. Senator, we've been working on that, and we're doing it in a way that protects victims and also doesn't put out into the ether information that is irrelevant for production to the public, such as cesium. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 3 minutes before 3:47 p.m., the Senate Judiciary Committee hearing room looked like every other hearing room in Washington. Sterile lighting, polished wood, flags placed with ceremonial precision, and a low mechanical hum of staffers shuffling papers that signaled nothing of consequence was about to happen. For nearly an hour and a half, the exchange had followed the same predictable choreography, senators reading prepared remarks, FBI Director Kash Patel responding in calm, bureaucratically polished phrases that sounded substantial while committing to absolutely nothing measurable or binding. Questions about cyber intrusions from Beijing, about Russian propaganda pipelines, about domestic extremism funding patterns. All of it was handled with the professional cadence of a man who had memorized the language of containment and mastered the art of strategic vagueness. Patel checked his watch twice during those exchanges, not nervously but casually, as if he were pacing himself through a long meeting that posed no real threat to his authority or composure. That was the first miscalculation of the afternoon. Because what happened next was not routine oversight, and it was not political theater in the harmless sense. It was surgical confrontation. Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana did not rush into the moment. He did not raise his voice, and he did not attempt theatrics. Because Kennedy understands something fundamental about power in Washington, that the quiet question delivered at the right second can be more devastating than any shouted accusation. For those who underestimate him based on the slow Southern drawl, that mistake is usually made only once, because behind that cadence is a Yale law graduate and an Oxford scholar who knows exactly when to tighten the vice and exactly how long to let silence do the work. He waited through 90 minutes of procedural filler, through language that meant nothing to the average American watching from home, and he allowed Patel to grow comfortable in that rhythm of non-answers. At precisely 3:47 p.m. Eastern Time, a timestamp that would later be replayed on cable networks frame by frame, Kennedy leaned toward the microphone and said the name that shifted the air inside the chamber. Director Patel, I want to talk to you about Jeffrey Epstein. The change in atmosphere was not subtle. It was immediate. Electric. The kind of shift that causes reporters to stop typing and staffers to look up in unison, because everyone in that room understood that this subject does not drift harmlessly across partisan lines. Epstein is not a policy discussion. He is not a budget allocation. He is not a foreign adversary that can be debated in abstract terms. He is a symbol of elite corruption and unanswered questions that refuse to die.